Hi and welcome along to AFTV Mudryk Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with the Ukrainian that's been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. No, only joking. Welcome along to Transfer Daily. It does seem like we're speaking about this guy each and every day. We are going to get to him in a minute, but first of all, massive game for Arsenal. Newcastle. A chance for Arsenal to move 12 points clear at the top of the table, or 12 points clear of Newcastle anyway, and 10 points clear of Manchester City ahead of their game against Chelsea. The team's looking really good at the moment. I was just chatting to Flex before I got here, a Man United fan, as you know, and he's going, boy, I'm starting to think you lot are going to win it. You know what I mean? But to win it, it's still a long way to go. We still got to stay humble, and we got to get some signings in January. Everybody and his dog knows that. Now, of course, as I just mentioned at the start of the show, Mykhailo Mudryk, the number one target for Arsenal this January transfer window, the hot Wonderkid from out of the Ukraine that Arsenal are heavily into getting, and we know that he would love to sign for Arsenal. As I said a couple of days ago, he has already agreed terms with Arsenal on a 5-year deal to bring him to the Emirates Stadium. The sticking point is, of course, his club. They want 86 million. Arsenal's initial bid was way, way, way below that. Well, I can tell you that they have now submitted a second bid, Arsenal. A second bid that with the add-ons will take it up to around about 62 million pounds. A lot of money. It's said to be an initial 49 million pounds, and then with add-ons that will take it up to 62 million pounds. A lot of money, especially when you look at what Liverpool have just paid for Cody Gakpo. It's way more than that. And, you know, I know Mudryk's 21, Gakpo's only 24, but that is the faith and that is how highly the Arsenal really rate this kid. Of course, as I said, Shakhtar, they want more money. And I said to you yesterday, they keep looking at what Manchester United paid for Anthony and saying, well, we think the Mudryk is better, so we should be getting at least the same amount of money. I think the next couple of days are going to be critical for this deal. The news is that Shakhtar are going to sit down tomorrow, the hierarchy, and discuss the deal and then decide on what they're going to do. Now, there's also a lot of talk that the Arsenal team are very happy and very confident that this is going to be enough to get the deal done, and they'll be wanting to get Mudryk in as soon as possible into the Emirates. As I said, on yesterday's show, we were Oxford at the weekend, and then after that, it's Tottenham away. I'm sure they'd love to get him in time for that game. So I think the next couple of days are going to be really important on this. I think we're going to find out whether it's happening or not over the next couple of days. There is still Chelsea looming. They're said to be interested. We know that Todd Bowley's throwing money left, right and centre around at players. But Arsenal at the moment feeling pretty confident that they're going to get this deal done. So let's see what happens with the second deal. There's another player that Arsenal are looking at the moment with a lot of interest. He plays over in France in Ligue 1, and that is Elye Wahi. I hope I pronounced that right. Elye Wahi. He plays for Montpellier over there in France. Of course, that's the same club that we got Olivier Giroud from, and he proved to be a very, very good player for us. He's only 20, this kid. He's a centre forward, valued at around about £26.6 million by his club. Now, according to Foot Mercato, they're reporting that Arsenal are very interested in him. Arsenal, alongside a lot of other clubs, Everton, Spurs are showing interest in him. Man United, Manchester City, 7 goals he's scored and 1 assist in 16 appearances this season. And he is very, very well thought of in French football. Said to be the next hot prospect coming out of France. Got a goal-scoring record that is fantastic for such a young player. Arsenal showing a lot of interest in him now. I don't think this is a deal that will happen in January, if at all. You know what I mean? Listen, as I said, there's a lot of clubs after him. But Arsenal are one of those clubs showing interest. But I still think according to what I've been reading, Montpellier will not want to let him go in January. It'd be more a sort of deal that could go down in the summer, but Arsenal being heavily linked with him today. Talking of France, right? If we're being heavily linked with this Elye Wahi, why don't we just go and get Folarin Balogun, right? Our youngster who's over there on loan, he's only 21 as well. He's at Rams and he is doing brilliantly. As a matter of fact, he's got a better goal scoring record this season for Rams. He scored 10 goals in 16 appearances and he's got 2 assists. So that's actually a better record than Wahi's. He's tearing up the league out there, Folarin Balogun, and of course we got him over there on loan. Now, should we go and get him back in January, or should we leave him at Rams to continue his development and then bring him back a bit like what we did with Saliba in the summer, and then we know we've got, you know, a top young striker in the fold? I would really love to hear from you guys on this, because you could argue we've got a lot of games coming up. You know, the FA Cup is just about to kick off again this weekend. And hopefully, you know, we've had quite a favourable draw. Hopefully we'll get past Oxford and be into the next round. So he could figure in that. There's the Europa League. There's a fact that, you know, we know there's an injury at the moment to Gabriel Jesus. Eddie's come in and he's done well. But what is there on the bench if it's not working out? Striker-wise, there's nothing, is there? So Balogun is over there on loan, killing it at the moment over there in France, absolutely killing it. Should we bring him back? I mean, that's really interesting. I mean, it's all right looking at all these other players like Wahi and people like that, but we got our guy right there. So I'd love to hear from you guys on it. Should we bring Balogun back off loan and get him back into Arsenal, because he's on fire at the moment? Now, on Gabriel Jesus, good news actually. I saw yesterday that he put on his Instagram that he's discarded his crutches. You know, he's now walking without crutches, and that is a great, great sign. Now, could he return back to Arsenal ahead of schedule? We don't even know what the full schedule is, if I'm being honest, because nobody at Arsenal have said to us how long he's going to be out for. The speculation's always been 3 months he's going to be out for. But him saying there, you know, tweeting yesterday and showing us that, you know, he's discarded his crutches and now walking around without crutches, that is really good news. Could he come back early? There's a danger of coming back too early. We saw Reece James the other day come back early for Chelsea and then break down, and now he's out for about another month again. We don't want to do that. We don't want to rush him back. But if he comes back early, that would be great news for Arsenal. And then again, does that then affect what Arsenal do in the January transfer window? Because they'll have all the data. They'll know exactly what's going on. If they think he's going to come back ahead of time, do they then say to themselves, well, we don't need a João Felix and we don't need to outlay all that money, for instance, because Jesus is going to be back? Going to be very, very interesting to see. But good news that Jesus now walking without crutches, and it looks like his rehabilitation is going pretty well. Now, another player that also been linked with this January transfer window is Alexis Mac Allister of Brighton. Of course, World Cup winner. I don't know if you saw the videos yesterday of him turning up at Brighton and all of his teammates clapping him and congratulating him for winning the World Cup. Fantastic he was at the World Cup as well. Saw him in a lot of the games, and he was absolutely fantastic in that midfield for Argentina. Now, Arsenal, again, along with a lot of other clubs, been very heavily linked with him, valued at around about £38 million. I reckon Brighton might even want more than that. He's a World Cup winner now. But he came out yesterday and said that, listen, at the moment, I'm happy at Brighton. He's got no intentions, or he's in no hurry to leave, is what he basically said. Brighton have already come out this January transfer window and said that they want to keep hold of him. They, you know, Brighton as a team, they know where they are. They know they're probably going to have to sell him, but they're not looking to sell him in January. But we've been heavily linked with him. I think he'd be a great addition to our midfield, but certainly that doesn't look like a January deal. What about Youri Tielemans? Now, again, another player that we know is available. He walks away at the end of the season for nothing from Leicester. Brendan Rodgers questioned about it yesterday in his press conference. What's happening with Tielemans? Is he going in January? He seems to be talking about him staying. You know what I mean? He's saying that, listen, we know his contract's running down. We still love to sign him on a long-term contract, but we understand his situation. But we're going to continue picking him. He's a consummate professional, and he's still part of our plan. So is that indicating that Tielemans is going to stay at Leicester this January and then possibly come to Arsenal in the summer for free? And is that the right thing for Arsenal to do? We still need cover in that midfield. We really, really do. I think, all right, get the Mudryk one done, but I think it's essential that we get cover for Thomas Partey. And Cedric. Now, Cedric, at the start of this transfer window, heavily linked with a move to Fulham. And, you know, I was surprised, actually, that it hasn't been done yet because, you know, that was before the window even opened. All the indications is that Cedric would be joining Fulham on a permanent deal. However, the sticking point seems to be his salary at the moment. At Arsenal, he's on £65,000 a week. Fulham, of course, don't have the budget that Arsenal have, and they don't really want to pay that sort of money. Arsenal would like to move Cedric on. Of course, we know Ben White is now coming into that right-back position, and he's been brilliant. You've got Tomiyasu, who can also play there as well. So Cedric, I mean, no starts in the Premier League this season. I think he's just come on one substitute appearance. He knows his time is up at Arsenal, even though he's a very experienced player, and could still figure in maybe FA Cup games, etc. But will Fulham take him? The sticking point is his salary. Obviously, he doesn't want to have a massive drop on his salary. That is what is stalling that deal at the moment. So as it stands, Cedric is still an Arsenal player. So listen, over the next few days, I think what we're going to find out is, will Mudryk be coming into Arsenal? We want to get this one done early. And I like the way Arsenal be moving on this. And I don't want it to be like a deadline day signing. I think that just wouldn't make sense. We've got two big games after the Newcastle game in Tottenham and Manchester United. We want to have this kid in, training with the team and ready for those two games. Let's hope we can get this done over the next couple of days. Listen, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. You get all your notifications on Transfer Daily. Also, check out DR Sports, another channel that I feature on a lot, and check out their transfer show as well. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow. Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.